It started with a scratch, a single paw scraping against the worn-out floorboards of an old school stage. The dog, a sleek German shepherd with intelligent eyes and a heart full of loyalty, froze as his nose twitched and ears perked. Something wasn't right. The auditorium was empty, save for the soft hum of fluorescent lights and the lingering scent of chalk and aged wood. But Ranger, a K-9 unit with the local police department, had sensed something more, something hidden beneath decades of silence. Moments later, his claws scraped again, this time more urgently, more insistently, as if his instincts were reaching out through time itself. What he uncovered would shock a quiet town to its core. Before we dive deeper into this emotional and unforgettable journey, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Justice on Paws, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unbreakable loyalty of animals like Ranger. Your support helps us bring more stories that matter to light. Detective Laura Hayes had been with the force for over 15 years. Steady, logical, and known for her no-nonsense demeanor, she wasn't one to believe in coincidences. She also wasn't used to working with animals, until the department reassigned her to partner with Ranger following an injury that left her desk-bound for months. She had seen colleagues form bonds with their dogs that went deeper than most human connections. Still, she wasn't convinced, until the day she walked into Crest Hill Elementary for what was supposed to be a routine check on a series of petty break-ins. She was expecting an empty building and a quick sweep. She never expected Ranger to stop at the edge of the old stage and start pouring like his life depended on it. The school had been around since the 1950s, long enough for the paint to peel and the wood to warp in places. The stage was rarely used anymore, its curtains dusty and its floor uneven. Laura approached with caution, flashing her light across the boards. That's when she saw it, a faint outline, almost invisible to the naked eye, where the boards didn't quite align. A trapdoor. And a chill ran through her. Who builds a hidden trapdoor in a school auditorium? When maintenance arrived and helped pry it open, the truth began to crawl into the light. The air that escaped was thick, musty, and tinged with something older than rot, something like grief. A rusted ladder led down into a narrow room no bigger than a small office. Inside were decaying boxes of paper files, 2 broken chairs, a dusty typewriter, and something more sinister, children's toys, photographs, a worn-out teddy bear. Laura's heart clenched. Ranger didn't bark. He just sat, ears forward, gaze steady, as if he already knew. What they had found was a forgotten chamber, built during a time of fear, perhaps the Cold War, or perhaps something darker. But the real story began to emerge with the files. Names. Dozens of them. Children marked as transferred, yet never enrolled in any other school. Old disciplinary reports describing unruly behavior, defiance, unsuitability. As Laura read deeper, her hands trembled. These weren't just misbehaving students, they were poor, they were different, they were children with disabilities, from broken homes, or simply unwanted. And they had been made to vanish. As the days turned into weeks, Laura poured herself into the investigation. She dug through archived school records, spoke to aging residents, and even tracked down retired teachers who remembered rumors of strange disappearances swept under the rug. And all the while, Ranger was by her side, alert, patient, and always watching. She had never known such loyalty. At night, when her heart felt heavy with the weight of the past, she'd find Ranger lying near the boxes of evidence, as if guarding the truth from ever being buried again. The town reacted with shock. At first, there was disbelief. Then came the guilt. For generations, families had sent their children to Crest Hill, never knowing that beneath their feet had been the quiet echoes of injustice. The media swarmed, but Laura remained focused, not for fame, but for the children whose voices had been silenced. Ranger became more than a police dog, he became a symbol. At school assemblies, he would sit beside Laura as she spoke to students about courage, compassion, and the power of truth. Children would line up just to touch him, to feel the warmth of his fur, to look into his eyes and find safety there. It was during one of those school visits that an elderly woman approached Laura with trembling hands. She said her brother had attended Crest Hill in the 1960s, and never came home. Her family was told he'd run away, but they never believed it. His name was on the list. Laura held her tightly, and Ranger gently pressed his head against the woman's leg. In that moment, decades of pain began to heal, not completely, but enough. As more names were identified and honored, a memorial was built near the school, a stone plaque etched with a single phrase, "They were not forgotten." Ranger sat by it during the unveiling, silent and proud. Laura, once skeptical, once reserved, felt something crack open inside her. She had found a partner, a friend, and something she didn't even know she was looking for, purpose. Now, when people ask about the day the truth came to light, Laura doesn't talk about the investigation, or the reporters, or the records. She talks about Ranger. About the moment he scratched the floor and refused to stop. About the bond they shared that neither of them could explain. She says sometimes, it's the ones who can't speak that tell the most important stories. If this story touched your heart, even just a little, please don't leave without liking, commenting, and subscribing to Justice on Paws. Share this with someone who believes in redemption, in forgotten voices, and in the unwavering loyalty of our four-legged heroes. Ranger didn't just uncover the past. He helped heal a future. And sometimes, the smallest paw prints leave the deepest marks.